I wanted to say a quick few words on the whole Blake Lively Justin Baldoni saga. But before I do that, I know I have to explain myself because I'm a practicing Muslim, a religious student, and a conservative dad. So, what am I doing talking about frivolities such as Celebrity Feud? Well, my teenage daughter became a Colleen Hoover fan, and I think It Ends With Us became one of her favorite books some years ago. I know this because she became crazy happy after she heard that they were turning it into a movie and kept babbling about it with me at home over meals. Yes, I have that kind of a relationship with my daughters. And since the book was built around topics such as domestic violence and emotional abuse, I decided to watch the movie once it came out, and I did. I did not take a shine to it, to be honest, and I thought those essential topics did not bubble up in any significant manner. And you know what? I'll keep my opinions on the movie for another time. But that's how I got interested in this entire saga. That resulted in Blake suing Justin and Justin counter suing her, Ryan, and the New York Times. So my interest in the saga is because of one, my daughter, and also because some of the things I want to talk about to the younger generations relate to some life lessons. So back to the saga. The first thing to notice is how often the carefully choreographed images of celebrities turned out to be nothing but a facade, hiding their Machiavellian personalities. I mean, I'm not giving a verdict on the case, and I'll tell you why in a bit, but whichever party turns out to be true, one of them is not as they seem. Either Blake is a manipulative expletive who employed a sexual harassment allegation as a weapon, or Justin is not the good hearted, innocent feminist who grows and donates hair for children suffering from cancer. Whichever one turns out to be true, it will be a loss for celebrity images nonetheless. The second is that this case is turning out to be another nail in the coffin of believe all women. We saw it taking a toll in the Amber Heard escapade and the Me Too movement taking a huge hit. But I think we have still not reached a place where we should be as a society. And the pendulum needs to keep swinging back further in the direction of sanity on this. And if this case turns out to be the way it seems to be, it might actually serve sanity. Then there is the era and power of the court of public opinion. Everything is now being litigated in this court. I'm just realizing how powerful this court has become. With people like Candace Owens and Brett Cooper, there are powerhouses on the internet now that are Nancy Drews on steroids, rivaling even state institutions. I mean, Justin's lawyer just submitted additional evidence in the case because Candace brought it to the fore. How crazy is this? It has truly become an era of crowd litigation. And God save us from the wrath of Candace, who, in her spare time, is currently taking on the President of France. And as far as this public opinion code is concerned, it seems to be a slam dunk for Justin. After he released the other half of the text messages that gave the whole drama a new angle, and how Blake's tone-deaf promotion of the film and disrespectful interviews and the whole Khaleesi's two dragons, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift influence was laid bare, there seems very little doubt that Justin is in the right here. I mean, I've been a fan of Ryan Reynolds since Two Guys, a Girl and a Pizza Place, which is longer than most of his fans. But if I'm saying this, it means something. The whole nice pool affair turns out to be such a distasteful and a sordid diss that it seems almost insurmountable to bounce back from. And boy, does Justin come out to be an angel. With his feminism, personal struggles, his bending to their every unreasonable demand, to the extent of waiting in the basement with his family on his premiere, and to top it off, donating hair to cancer children, he just turns out to be an absolute saint. But that is the other thing I want to talk about. The code of public opinion is not a real code. There are reasons why we have courts of law. Things that might seem decisive to the common public may be shredded by trained lawyers. And the general character of a person can only go so far as to become just one among much evidence. Haven't we learned from the cases of Kevin Spacey, Johnny Depp, and Cassie, etc.? Looks can be deceiving, and not everything meets the legal criteria for evidence. So we can all hold a burgeoning predilection for Justin over Blake, but I'll wait for the actual courts to decide on the matter before going off destroying people's lives. This is something that comes with age and experience. And I do not have the luxury of bliss or irrational confidence that comes with youth. But these are all minor points compared to the three major points I actually want to discuss. First, why has stuff like this become so important in our lives, both in terms of the attention we give to it and the impressions we take from it? The people that provide us with entertainment are and should be just a very small part of our lives. As goes the adage, a life with illusions is unpardonable, but a life without illusions is unbearable. So, insofar as at the end of a hectic day of work, we treat ourselves with some escapism that makes life bearable, that is the place for entertainment. But even more importantly, we all need sandboxes for including this entertainment in our lives so that we don't get affected by it. Know what a sandbox is? In the technology world, it is a device or a software that allows you to, download a potentially harmful piece of code to use and experiment with on a system separate from the main system, without allowing it access to your main system and important files so that they don't get infected. Now, we Gen Xers have this sandbox installed as factory settings for the most part. But what I observe is that later generations, they take entertainment so seriously that they often take life lessons from it and get emotionally invested and affected by the lyrics and scripts of stuff that has been designed as fiction and escapism. So shall we go easy on the gas a bit? Second, when did celebrities become role models? Singers and actors are usually the worst in their professional and romantic relationships, and as far from our realities as can be, and hardly the poster child for morality. They are all Zoolanders when it comes to egotism and narcissism and should be treated as such unless otherwise established through mountains of evidence. Because it is the nature of their jobs. Whatever happens on screen or in the lyrics is all I'm interested in. What happens before or after their performance is of minimal importance. And I've learned this through the hard way. I remember, as Metallica's one of my favorite songs, Fade to Black, I had heard and assumed all kinds of calamities that must have befallen them to sing such a dark song. Imagine how anticlimactic it was when I found out that they had actually just lost the musical instruments that brought about the song. Similarly, I love Danny Masterson, but look how that turned out. And finally, celebrity culture, particularly pertaining to movie actors, is built on a denial of human instincts. The male instinct is not to so much as allow someone eyeballing his woman. But not only do they have to see and allow their women to be intimate with their movie counterparts on screen, they actually marry them, knowing their history and the likely future. The repression of these feelings then manifests in weird ways. And I think it just might be such a case herein as well. The West has cheered these celebrities on into becoming these creatures that just exist to amuse us. They are actually disposable gladiators by another name. Whether they succeed or lose their life or limb, metaphorically speaking, of course, we get amused either way. So everyone has just devolved into a spectator in the gladiator games. So I guess my message to the young generation is move away from these false idols. You become what you see and adore. Make scholars, ethical activists, public servants, and politicians and scholars your idols instead. People who are doing you a great service and actually not being paid enough to do that. And forget about this case and get on with your lives. We'll check back once the courts have ruled on it.